Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to be installing the wheels on this. This is the wheel we're talking about right here. I just installed these Galfer brake rotors. We'll see how these things do. I hear nothing but good things about them. I did some minor changes. Sorry, Galfer. For my application, I kind of perfected them a little bit more. They had some, I don't know if you can see on the on the edge right here, there was some machining. I didn't like it, so I taped it off, had it repowder coated. And these rotor buttons right here, they were way too, called them red, but they're almost orange. It didn't match the look of the bike once you put them onto the bike. It really looked pretty out of place. So I took the rotor buttons apart. You can tell behind here there is lighting kind of sucks back here, but they're just circlips, wave washers. Removed them. Had these had the anodizing removed. Took them to an anodizing place, had existing anodize removed, and then they re-anodized them to what this place called brick red. Anyway, a little bit more in line with the color, as you can tell here, and the color of the bike. So, from the paint. Anyway, I will be installing this wheel right here onto this bike. So let's get to it. First things first, always gotta strap up. Always gotta do protection. I'm one of those hate seeing dirt under the fingernails kind of guy. When I talk to somebody, never understood why these things are so cheap, easy to work with. Get them, if you get them good, if you get them the right size, they will fit way better. People tend to get them way too large and they feel really loose, and then they say, "Oh, I can't feel," or "Can't they slip around in my hand?" Get them the right size, they're almost skin tight, and they work pretty well. By the way, I ended up earlier, it's not in the video, but I replaced the O-rings. I had a leak right here. I had I replaced the O-rings in here on this adjuster, and I didn't do it on this one. I made, because it wasn't leaking. I believe if any broke it, don't fix it, but I may have to shortly, and I will put that on video. It was just really easy. It just comes out. Put some new O-rings in. I put a new circlip inside there. Just replaced it. Now you get these parts from Olin's directly. That's the best way. You could probably, rack your brain trying to source these O-rings, measure them, and do all that good stuff from the hardware store. Just call Olin's up. They got an office out of North Carolina, I think, and it was really quick and easy, super cheap, couple bucks each. You need 2 O-rings, circlip, maybe. I mean, they charge you for shipping. That was way more than the price of the O-rings. And I bought a couple extras for the future, so make it worth the shipping cost that I had to pay. I think I maybe paid $40 with shipping, with 5 O-rings of each type and 5 circlips, so it wasn't too bad. Anyway, that was that. So, all right. Here's the pieces that we're going to be dealing with right here. As you can tell, I'm kind of got an organized mess here. These all, usually I separate different projects. I got a Performance Ford I'm working on, fuel pump stuff. I broke this tool. This is a thread setter. Broke a tool. Had to get components on order, repair that, and those are coming. When they come in, I will do that. Methanol kit for the car. But this is what we're going to be dealing with today. That's some other stuff. Probably end up using that. Front axle. This is all stuff. Krause front end, using the Olin's FG424 forks. And it will we'll mount this thing up. Okay, so one of the things I had going on here in these wheels was when I took it apart to refurbish the bike, I had to did the brakes. I took the hubs apart. These are DNA Victory wheels. I took it apart, upgraded some of the hardware, repowder coated the hubs. They were kind of nicked a little bit, kind of freshened up the bike. But one of the problems that I noticed was the wheel bearings. When you always want to replace bearings if you have to bang them out of whatever the housing is, if you can. Sometimes they're reusable. I know some people will argue that point, but I got it off. They're relatively inexpensive, all things considered. So I just went and got new bearings. But what I ended up doing is went with upgraded from some cheapy. Let's see if I got them still. Oh yeah, here we go. Some cheap. Are these it? These are some cheap made in China ones. So what I ended up doing was upgrading. They look identical to actual Timken bearings. I don't know if you can see the Timken logo. Probably not. But these are actual Timkens. Higher quality bearings. I just keep bearings just for, you never know when you need them, even cheap ones. But it just fits kind of loose in there. So what I want to do is I'm going to put some bearing sleeve retainer. Boom. This helps to, because this thing will start, even if this should be a press, not a super tight press fit, but it should be a press fit, very snug. You'd have to kind of like press it, and I have the tools for that. But if you notice, it just slides right in there. That's pretty loose, all things considered. Now, short of getting this whole hub remachined, and there's just enough play in there. I'm gonna work with this stuff, see if I can't get it to, this to work a little bit better. Now, it wasn't bad, but when I pulled it out, the existing one, you could tell it was kind of chattering a little bit in there. And we'll do that. Now, these particular rims, they come with like a little spacer that goes inside here. And they have this hub spacer. Taking this off for now. So what I'm doing here is using the axle to make sure everything's centered. Okay, boom. Looks good. So, see, this thing should pull out way easier than that, but it doesn't. So what I'm going to do here is get this thing more straight up and down. Okay. This is a new one. I don't know if I've even opened it. Nope. Tip up a little bit. Okay. That doesn't take much. Ooh, yikes. Now this is just gonna help seat this thing way better. It'll kind of, actually, you know what? Before that dries up, let me pull this back out, sorry. I know we shouldn't have to do this, but it will help. Now the other side bearing is in pretty snug. I had to press that one in as they should be. Okay, get that in there for a second. All right, let's get back to this. So, as you can see, I've got some of my old Army socks on here. I don't know. It's about all they're good for after you get out. Those of you who ever served, you know, these things, got a ton of them issued. They weren't really in bad shape, but it's kind of what I do to all old socks. Turn them into, it kind of comes in handy whenever you're working on a car or a bike. There's some things that you kind of want to protect from getting scuffed up if you. Okay, kind of hanging, get the socks there. All right, so make sure I got everything. Let's make sure this thing is spinning the right direction. It sucked to go through all that work, and that's the way it spins. Double check it. Where the hell's the arrow on this one? I'm looking at the tread and I already know which is right, but I always like to double check it. There's always an arrow on these things. I can't find it. I'm going crazy over here, I think. It's not always on both sides, but yep, boom, here we go. Arrow's pointing this direction. You can really just look at the tread and just figure that out, but never hurts to double check it. Just in case. Alrighty, so now, I kind of hope these straps don't get in the way here. See, this sucks. This should not be. Yep, those are loose. Of course, the straps would be right in the way, wouldn't they? So what I'm going to do is make this easy on me. I'm going to lower this jack stand. But as I do that, boom. But as I do that, I want to make sure that these straps stays tight. So you got to kind of juggle It's a balancing act here. And actually, I should have kept the fucking... You should stay up pretty vertical with that front thing on there, but you guys might get a show today. Okay, excited to loosen up here. See it. Trying to wait, look at this. Lining up with the wheel. Okay. Actually, this is where I like this. I like these straps. They're nice and thick, but this is kind of where a ratchet strap might actually come in handy. Okay, that's starting to get kind of loose. Oh, it's such a slow process, but I think we're there enough to where I can. Got it. Cool. That was good. All right. Spacer for this side. Okay, let's see here. If you have like an old broomstick, like a piece of a broomstick that usually fits pretty good, wooden broomstick. Trying to get this thing into the... Sucks. Come on. Stupid center hub in there. I want to get this thing situated before that. Who would think that something so simple would be such a pain in the freaking butt cheeks? A little bit longer. Doesn't do anything. Okay, this is starting to piss me off, man. So if you had a fucking damage axle ready to go on this side. Okay, there we go. I think I'm getting it. Getting it. Ha. You want to make sure, if you see here, this line, you want this as close to the straight, lined up with the bottom of the pinch as that. Okay. Those are loose already. Piece of wood, if you need to tap something. Now this particular front axle has a nut on both sides. I've already had it pretty much centered, good to go. Okay, that's okay. this thing come off. This is an adapter sleeve that Kraus uses for the forks. If you look, the line. All right. Of course, the strap would be. See what we got here. Can we get it on there enough? This is so fucking... Cool. All right. Now, I'm going to Loctite this a little bit when I get it on there, but what I'm trying to do right now is seat. So now, we're going to raise it back up. Get this. Okay. All right. Okay, I got it seated decently. What I'm going to do is tighten. I'm going to tighten these pinch bolts so that I can really crank on them. Then I'm going to pull that. This is now pinched. Getting these pinched on here. Okay, now I'm going to peel this back off. Now, everybody wants to use red Loctite on everything. I think we can get away with blue on this because it's got a set screw acting as a double. Mamma jamma. Okay. Excess. So, moving these away, it spins pretty good. No problem. Okay. Tighten up these pinch bolts here. Okay, then, last but not least, the set screw. PSAE. There we go. This I will use a pinch of blue Loctite as well. Get that. Okay. Get excess out of there. All right, now we're going to put the rotors on. So these are spacers from a place overseas called Addiction Motorsports. What I like about these spacers is, if you can tell, they've got the dowel on both sides. That's just some junk that was on there. Anyway, the reason why I need these is, if you notice, I had these machined down. Unfortunately, I had smaller rotors on here, so I had these rotor calipers custom machined down to about 10 millimeters down, because these were designed for a 320 millimeter rotor. Harley's 11.8 inches that I originally had on here is roughly 300 millimeters. It's actually 292, I think it is. So I had that ground down, or I'm sorry, machined. And then I also had dowels machined in there so that they originally machined in. However, and it worked perfect. However, I got actual legitimate 320 millimeter front rotors now, so I have to space that out again. So I could just use a regular 10 millimeter spacer and use bolts, but there's always some play in there. You always want those dowels in there if possible. So what's cool though is that these guys integrate the dowel into their spacers. You see, and then it keeps. Oops, boom, two of these. And then my trusty hardware from Diamond Engineering. By the way, this hardware is stainless, but it is hardened. They got some special stainless alloy, basically ARP style bolts. That's what everybody wants to call them. They're not ARP. ARP is a brand. Diamond Engineering is another brand. They make a lot of this hardware for, Harleys. I got them all over the place. So anyway, let us proceed. I'm not gonna what I'm gonna do first, get these kind of snug, both, and then pull them off and use some blue Loctite. Alright, so let's get these onto the rotors. Actually, let me do that first. This is gonna be stuff's falling off my lift here. As long as it's not the bike. Alright. Now these rotors are, I put brand new, as you can see when I put it on there, bottoms out. Alright, so gotta space it out. Let's get this bad boy on here. Boom. Go. Before I put the Loctite on there, I want to get these things seated and make sure it spins good. And trick 12 point. See those dowels, this thing isn't going anywhere, even with loose bolts. Okay. There's a mosquito flying around here. It's annoying me. pretty snug. Oops. Not bad. Got good clearance. Good clearance. I like it. I like it a lot. Trying to see. Ooh, yeah. Of course, it's making that noise because I'm not clamping the brakes just yet. All right. Let's see the other side. I gotta pull those little pins out, those dowels out. What I do for that is got these extractor things here. These seem to work fairly decently. When you want to pull those out without... Now, you don't want to reuse these. If you ever need... where's my... Can I use... You should always get these dowel pins new. If you can, they're usually pretty cheap, but you're gonna have to get them online as far as I know. So there is a period that you're gonna have to wait. Get them. There you go. See this? They're moving. They are kind of a pain in the butt to take off. I'm trying to do all this with. Oh, shit. Okay, that's not working very well. Okay, this one's gonna require a little bit more love. Oh, that's why. Some of the blue Loctite from the bolts leaked into the crevices there. And that's what's hanging these things up. Now what would be easy is if I wanted to break this line loose and put this in a vise. I should put this tool in the vise. But I don't want to break the... I don't want to bleed these brakes again. It's a pain in the butt to do it. So... just spinning. That's all it's doing. It's not coming out. Fuck. go. Got one of these out. Let's get it off of there. Should just, let me get a bigger one. Some good Nipex tools here. But that one's too small. Step up. Boom. Ta-da! All right. Gotta get the next one. This one is proving to be difficult. You know what? Let's go real big. See how well I can hold the. It's not the biggest one, but it's. Oh my gosh, this thing is, holy crap. Oh, you know what I might be able to do? Let's see here. Let's try something here. On the rubber here. I could get this thing to come out right away if I frickin' had this thing on advice, but I don't. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere. I feel it. It's moving a lot easier. Let's see if we can get this to work. this. Ugh. This thing is fucking kicking my ass. Boom. Ta-da! Junk. Never use these again. Back to the job at hand. Nice and snug. Nice. All right. So now it is time to apply the blue Loctite and torque to spec. So I'm doing one at a time. That way everything stays in place. Okay, so answer torque wrench, boom. All right, back to it. So this is a Harley Davidson. However, I'm using an Öhlins front end, Yamaha R1 calipers. So what I'm doing is I'm torquing these to the Yamaha R1 torque spec, these bolts, which is 25 foot-pounds. Now, because it is a Harley and you should Loctite everything, I am going to put a touch of blue Loctite on these things. I've also got, lock washers on there. So, just so you know, when you put some on here, it's good to tap it. What I usually do is just tap it, gets it throughout the threads a little bit better. Then zip this down by hand. Trusty torque wrench at 25 foot-pounds. 25 isn't much. Freaking mosquito flying around in here. Boom, good to go. I will come back and after I finish the top one, I will re-verify. That Loctite takes a while to dry. A couple hours actually when it's fully cured. So you got time. All right. Touch a bit of Loctite. Okay, let me double check this. Good. Good. All right, cool. On to the other side. So with the Loctite, you don't want to drip it off. It's got to look like it's really good into the threads. And one way to facilitate that is to do the tap method like I was saying earlier. Now I like to torque everything as much as I can. Some stuff you can just do good and tight. Now these are only supposed to be 66 foot-pounds. I think I probably did a little more than that, but it's all good. So you know, 25 foot-pounds is not a lot. That's pretty much, you can do that by hand almost. You would think you'd want it tighter, but they don't need to be. They just gotta, you can't over torque bolts. You start stretching them out and then actually stuff will start backing out. And this being aluminum, you don't want to pull on the threads at all, because it's going to be this bracket, the threads in this bracket, that fail before these bolts do. So once you do that, then you're kind of screwed. You have to get a whole new bracket from Kraus, and we all know his stuff is not cheap. Very well made and good product. But it costs, you know, you gotta pay to play, right? So, alrighty. We are almost done here, ladies and gentlemen. Check the bottom. It's good. One more time the top, and we're good. All right. Everything spins. Let's see here. I gotta get, because I'm on the lift and the brake levers are way up top. Okay. Pump the brakes. Yeah, look at that. You like that, ladies and gentlemen? That's some good shit right there. Nice. All right. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching.